All right, so welcome to another episode of the Magic Box Talk Show. And this is a special episode of the Magic Box Talk Show because we sort of broke out of jail. We used to always do the show over at the Fun City store on Front Street across from the bus station, but the opportunity presented itself to do it at Jerry Aberu's store here, which is the Level Up video game store. So here we are. We moved all the way from Front Street over to Locust Street. We're half a block off of Pacific Avenue. And right here in downtown Santa Cruz, Pacific Avenue is kind of the main drag through town. And kind of a bright and exciting place. It's a relatively new addition to the downtown business community. How long have you been open?
That's correct, Colin. Yeah, and thanks for coming down to the store here. I hope you guys enjoy your visit here with us. We've been open since April, actually. We started here in April of 2012. We've been around for going on 6 years, but this is our new home here in Santa Cruz. We're very excited to be here.
So there's other stores in the franchise?
Well, actually, no. We originally started, I originally started the store in Tucson, Arizona, but I'm from the Bay Area. I grew up out here and decided to move back home. And after being here for a little while, we decided to move the store down here. So
okay, so there's
change of venue. I
there's
guess.
no longer a store in Tucson then.
No longer a store in Tucson. We have many loyal fans there, and we hope to have another store there someday. But right now, it's a lot for me to manage. So
did you hear that? Tucson, send money if you want. If you want to see another store there, it can happen. We can make it happen.
They're excited to see that happen, that's for sure.
I bet they are. So, what I've really noticed about your store that I think is impressive is that it seems like a lot goes on here above and beyond just selling video games.
Yeah, I mean, it's the whole culture. I mean, we consider ourselves a video game boutique in the fact that we work with everything from the old Atari all the way up to the PlayStation 3.
Now that's kind of rare. I mean, it seems like most stores you would go into, they would sell like the contemporary, the newer games.
Exactly.
And so do you have people who come in here who are like Atari 2600 enthusiasts?
Yeah, people are blown away when they come down to the store here. They've not used to seeing this sort of an experience, and it really is the complete experience for a game store. And that's what we wanted when we started. Our idea, our concept behind this was to be a complete game store, a store where not only we sell games, but we talk about games and we live, breathe, and sleep games. So
the whole game culture.
It's great, and it's kind of bringing the community together because there's a huge community out there. Of course, everybody knows video games have just exploded over the last 30 years, and there's just this large community of people that are just so excited about this industry, and we wanted to be a part of that, and we wanted to, have a place that people could come locally here and talk about everything they like to talk about in video games, and that's what the store's all about.
Well, there's certainly a lot of creativity that goes on around video games. I think that's Absolutely. A lot of what is exciting about it to people. So that's interesting. I mean, you guys basically go back to Pong.
Yeah.
Like you have everything. I mean, we're sitting right here in front of your display. Can you tell me what this is? This is your little mini museum.
Yeah, It's a mini museum, exactly. It's more of a montage to everything gaming, starting from the old Pong down below here, and we've got everything going up to
Pac-Man and Donkey Kong on old Commodores, and that's an Atari 2600.
That's actually
correct?
My old Atari 2600.
That's your Atari from when you were a kid.
1978, I got that system, and that kind of started. That was the starting piece of this collection. Okay. Over the years, we've had so many avid collectors that have come in and seen our little collection, and they keep adding to it and bringing in their systems. Some of these may not be working, some of them are, but it's more just a display, and it's a great conversational piece.
It's nice to have as a collection.
Yeah, and it really helps bond generations, between parents and kids. They come in here with their kids and they're like, look, Johnny, that's the old Atari 2600 that I used to play on, comparative to your 360 or PlayStation 3 that you're using today. And so it's a great conversation piece, and people come in all the time walking by, and they'll see that museum and they'll look inside and I got to see this, and we'll have people taking pictures in front of it.
It's literally the first thing you see when you come through the door. Like, people who are watching this on YouTube can't tell, but we actually had to take the camera out the door, okay, which is why you get the noise of that truck going by and everything in the background, in order to get this shot. And I thought this was really important because this really is kind of, I mean, there's a lot of great things to look at in your store. I think that's another nice thing about it. It's very dynamic. You have a whole toy collection. This is kind of the centerpiece of all that. So you also sell video game toys.
We do. We're collectibles, toys. accessories, the whole gamut. I mean, like I said, we wanted to be a complete game store, and that's what we sought when we started this business. And it's just grown so much, as far as the products that we carry, the varying products. And like you said, toys are one big thing, collectibles, plushies, different Mario plushies. We try to find wallets and keychains and hats and ceramic figures, all kinds of
all
things.
Different kinds of
anything we can get our hands on.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of our advantages being a small company, is that we can go out and find these niche products that aren't exactly available in the mainstream retail.
Do you go out to like swap meets and things like that?
We do.
Garage sales?
Absolutely. I mean, a lot of the stuff we get in obviously relies on trade, and because we have such a big group of loyal customers, they're always very helpful to bring in stuff that we're looking for. But yeah, we get out there and we go to flea markets and we go on Craigslist and we go out to different garage sales in the area and just find things. And I wish I had more time to do that. It's always really fun. It's like treasure hunting, really. But yeah, we definitely do some of that too.
Absolutely, that's great. I mean, that's another one of those things that you're not going to see in kind of like the high retail electronics store is somebody putting that level of care into going out and getting things that people would find interesting. So you were talking about how a lot of what your store is that it's catering to the entire gamer culture.
Yep.
I think it's really interesting that you guys have events and tournaments, because one thing about being a gamer is that it can tend to lead to kind of a social isolation.
That's true.
You've been playing who knows what's
Call of Duty or whatever the kids are playing these days.
Man, I know the kids are really into games these days. I'm kind of an old school gamer. I see the Atari 2600 and the old Nintendo Entertainment Systems and stuff. I'm like, on. But Shadowlands, that's the one that I think, is that the right title?
Borderlands.
Yeah,
Borderlands. That's the latest and greatest.
Everybody's
this time,
into that. Mm-hmm. And it's...
the gaming culture has changed quite a bit over the last few generations, especially with this current gen console systems of Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 and Nintendo Wii. They've really brought online gaming to a new level, and it's something that we hadn't experienced in the previous generation.
So in terms of different gamers interacting with each other's avatar characters.
Right, exactly. Sort of thing, I mean, and so even though a lot of times, this is online, and like you said, it kind of creates this social disconnect because you're in your house talking on an internet connection as opposed to being with somebody playing. When we were growing up as kids, and you probably had a Super Nintendo or something of that nature, a lot of those games were multiplayer games, and you could play them at home with your friends.
This is a good point.
And so they'd hang out in groups and just play games. We're kind of trying to bring that back with the tournaments. And, there's a lot of tournaments that are available out there nationally that are online tournaments, but our tournaments are all locally held. And what's cool about that is that we get, anywhere from 20 to 150 kids in here, and young adults, and even some older guys in here like myself that like to play games competitively. It gives people an opportunity to see how the other people stack up against them in the games that they like to play. And we do a lot of classic games. We do a lot of newer games, so we kind of mix it up. We don't just stick to like what's the latest and greatest. We'll go back and do like a Halo 2 tournament, which we did recently. And that's one of the classic, first-person shooter competitive games.
Absolutely.
That came out. And we had a great turnout for that. People loved it. We've done some Super Smash Brothers Melee, Super Smash Brothers Brawl for the Wii. And all those tournaments have turned out really good so far here locally in Santa Cruz. Our typical turnout's about 64 players is what we shoot for, and we usually get a full capacity crowd for those tournaments and put up some great prizes. And a lot of people connect from it. It's great. I mean, we have a few local gaming clubs here that get together regularly and meet up to play either board games or video games or whatever. But we all have that same common interest, and so it's really cool that we were able to bring that here to Santa Cruz and help that along a little bit.
Well, that sounds like some really fun events. A lot of people showing up. I still haven't been to one of these tournaments. I'm going to have to check it out myself. I saw in the paper, and I thought this was really impressive. There was somebody who was dressed like Mario.
Yeah.
And that was great. Like, here's some people who are really getting into having a good time.
Yes.
And speaking about costumes, so you have an upcoming event here,
right.
And this is sort of your Halloween party. You want to tell me about that?
Yeah, sure. It started about 4 or 5 years ago at our store in Tucson, and we did a cosplay tournament and or contest. And one of the girls that worked for me was huge into cosplay, and she suggested the idea, and we thought, wait, that's a great idea. I mean, a lot of the people that play games have cross cultures that they're interested in, whether it's anime or cosplay or board gaming or comic books. It's all kind of, niched together. It's all pop culture, and that's really what, gaming is.
Well, video games are such a big phenomenon in Japan, and that's where you get the crossover between the manga and the anime.
Exactly.
Manga-style characters in the Japanese video games, that sort of thing.
Yeah. So we did our first costume contest, and we had about 20 people show up. And since then, the crowd's been getting bigger and bigger. I think the last one we did, we had 55 people enter into the costume contest.
Oh, boy.
Cosplay contest. So we're hoping to bring that same energy to Santa Cruz here. Of course, Santa Cruz has an amazing Halloween party downtown for Halloween. That's coming up.
It's really something that should be seen firsthand. Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, I've got some video footage of just some really off the wall and just creative costumes.
I've seen some of the most amazing costumes. I saw in the Transformers, there's the camera that splits apart into three little guys, right?
Yeah.
And somebody actually built a costume.
Wow, that one I didn't see, but I would have loved to see that.
That we could transform to. They were in their robot form, and then they would all link up together into this giant camera.
Oh, that's awesome!
Yeah. It was made out of like Tupperware, garbage tubs, and things like that.
Yep.
I mean, it just was really ingenious. People really get into it. So, Santa Cruz, let's see if we can get an even bigger turnout at this next one now that you've heard about it on the internet, because if there's one thing people in Santa Cruz like to do, it's dress up in costumes.
That's for sure. And very artistic community, a lot of creative people out here, and we're just really happy to be here and happy to be part of this community. That's for sure.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So this is coming up. What's the date
October
here?
27th.
October 27th, which is the day before my birthday. We'll be doing an episode of the Magic Box.
Yeah, and it's free for everybody. It's from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. and
put on some kind of costume and wander over.
We even have a kids portion of the contest, which will be 12 and under. And so if kids want to come out and show off their costumes and maybe win a prize and get some candy and all that good stuff.
So now let's say somebody is really excited about this cosplay, and hey, let's define the word cosplay for people who've been living in a cave. Sure. For the last 10 years or so, their knowledge of pop culture maybe got cut off somewhere around Perry Mason or something like that, right? What is cosplay exactly?
Cosplay, kind of like you said, there's been a big cross culture with the manga and anime and video games, and so cosplay kind of started around that concept of dressing up like the characters from these popular anime cartoons and from manga and from video games, and so. That's pretty much what the costumes are. They're very intricate. Some of them can be a little bit skimpy, I have to say.
That's part of the fun.
But I mean, people get really creative and come up with some amazing costumes, and the costumes are generally targeted around those three types of culture, and that's really where cosplay came from. Comic-Con is very well known for that, of course, up in San Diego. They do the big comic convention. You'll see all kinds of people dressed up and everything from Star Trek to Naruto to all kinds of different characters, and so that's kind of what why we bring it here, because it's not just about dressing up in costume, but it's also about representing some of the characters that we all grew up with and love and appreciate.
Absolutely. So if someone decides they're going to get really, really creative and make a costume that's better than every other costume at the party, what kind of a reward do they get for?
So basically, we're going to have
so much effort.
We're going to have a panel of 3 judges, and one of the judges is going to be from Game-A-Lot, which is our local tabletop gaming place here in Santa Cruz, and they're a great place if you're looking for Warhammer or Mythic or Magic or any of those tabletop games, role-playing games. And one of the guys
miniatures also.
Exactly. Yeah, they do all that stuff.
Very cool.
Really cool
stuff,
place. Yeah. Frank's a great guy, and he offered to co-sponsor this with us. And so anyway, he'll have a judge representing his store. We're going to have a judge here locally from our store, and we're hoping to get a local celebrity judge that's related to the video game business. And so hopefully that's a secret judge as of right now, but hopefully we'll get somebody in here that will surprise people.
You have to come and see who it is.
But yeah, in terms of the prizes, we have a first place prize. It's going to be based on just how accurate the costumes are, how original they are. And the first prize will be $150 in store credit. Second prize is going to be $50, and then we'll have a third prize of $25 in store credit. And then we're also, like I said, doing one for the kids at $50 for store credit. So,
all right.
Yeah, so we've got some good prizes.
So that's a pretty exciting thing if you're a gamer. You could come in here and buy $150 worth of video games if you win the first prize. Yeah, and there's quite a variety of everything going all the way back to the old Nintendo, old Atari, and on up to the latest, greatest thing.
Yep. That's
all right. Okay, so that event is coming up on the 27th?
27th of October.
And that'll be just a few days before Halloween. It's the annual Halloween cosplay party. So you'll be doing this next year or the year after that.
We're going to bring it every year, hopefully. And hopefully it'll just get bigger and better. Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah. Very cool. Well, hey, thanks for watching the show.
Thank you.
Hey, you got a website, right?
I do. www.levelupvideogames.com.
So if you're a gamer and you want to get connected to this community, you should get on that website, sign up for email alerts, talk in the forums, that sort of thing. Hey, all my gamer friends out in Wisconsin, I know that you'd be excited to network with some folks out here in California, and just wanted to put a shout out to that. Everybody on the Dungeon Masters of the Universe Facebook group, which people should check out. It's the nerdcore group, and it's very good.
Yeah.
So hey, thanks Jerry for having me on the show, and having the show in your store here. It's exciting to try out a new location because the Magic Box, it's magic. So anything could come out of it, and it could appear at any location, anytime. You never know when it's going to happen. All right, thanks, Jerry.
Thanks, Colin.
And it's been my pleasure to be here. I'm happy to be able to interview you and help you share the word about all the fun and creative stuff that you're doing here.
Absolutely. Thanks again.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right.